Most traders treat Bitcoin like it's a completely different animal, like it requires some sort of special approach, some crypto specific strategy, some extra layer of analysis that stocks don't need. But here's how I see Bitcoin. When Bitcoin sets up near the anchor line and throws off a power bar, it trades exactly like any other stock. Same setup, same rules, same result. Let me show you what I mean. I'm Steven, a former market maker and an arbitrage expert. And in this video, I teach a simple approach to trading using an anchor line and a power bar. Here's the thing about Bitcoin. It has a reputation for moving fast. It can be up 10%, down 15%. So traders approach it differently. They'll hesitate, they'll second guess positions because they think the normal trading rules don't apply for some reason. And I get it if you've ever been in Bitcoin when it's moved against you by 10 or 15% and you don't have some sort of structure in place, namely a stop. You can have a position move against you by a lot. But that fact is one of the things that makes Bitcoin so nice to trade. That large movement that it can sustain. Here's what most traders miss. It's not the asset that's unpredictable. It's trading it without that defined setup and without defined risk. And that's true whether you're trading Qs or Tesla or Google or Bitcoin. When you have a setup with rules and a signal you wait for and a stop that's defined before you enter Bitcoin, stops being scary and actually becomes a profit center for your trading. So let's look at the chart and I'll walk you through Bitcoin literally just over the past 12 hours because the setup looks exactly the same as what I've shown you guys before on Qs, on SPY, on futures, all of those in my other videos. Before I walk you through the chart, if you want a one document reference that shows you exactly what the power bar looks like and when to take it, comment power below in the comments and I'll send you that cheat sheet. It covers everything we're about to go through in Bitcoin. Again, this is just the past 12 hours in Bitcoin. I have an indicator that I use to show the power bar, so I'm going to walk you through here. The important thing to look at, if you're just looking at it at a glance, is the stop loss. That's when a trade doesn't work, a power bar trade doesn't work, versus take profit. Take profit with the indicator, the way I have it set up, means the trade made at least 1 times the risk. And if you see 3 take profits, it made 1 time, 1.5, and 2 times the risk. So when you look at a chart like this with my indicator on it, you want to see very few stop losses, or as few as possible, because again, that's just a stop out. And you want to see more take profits. So I can look at this in just a second and say that this was an incredible trading instrument over the past 12 hours. There were literally 2, 3, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. The important point with the power bar strategy is the stop losses are very small and there are only 3 of them. And look at the take profit levels, right? Take profit here on this trade, here on this trade. I'll go a little bit slower in a second. Here on this trade, take profit, take profit, take profit, take profit, take profit, right? All of those are profitable trades in Bitcoin because of the way it moves. So the first thing I want to show you is how the anchor line, which for me is the 20 simple moving average, it's the only line on this chart, how it behaves with Bitcoin. And shockingly, it's the same as it behaves with any other stock. You get movement away from the 20, back to the 20, away from the 20, back to the 20. That's when the power bar sets up around the 20. For me, it has to be at or near the 20, the origination of the power bar, away from the 20, back to the 20, away from the 20. It's the same as any other stock. There's absolutely no difference. The anchor line is the price where the market is in balance. And when Bitcoin gets away from it, just like I've talked about in my prior arbitrage experience, right? You get a snapback, right? It's just like stretching a rubber band, and then you get that snapback to the 20. And again, just like any other stock, this happens over and over. This is the 2-minute chart that I used to trade. That's the whole framework, right? One line, one signal, same as any stock. But here's where it gets interesting. Most crypto traders aren't using an anchor line. They're looking at a dozen different indicators because most crypto traders are highly technical. They're following social media sentiment. They're watching on-chain data. And all that noise is what makes Bitcoin feel unpredictable. But when you strip it down to just the anchor line, you start seeing the same patterns that show up on every other ticker. Again, price gets stretched, price returns, you get power bar setups, and that's the trade for me. So let me walk you through what a power bar setup looks like. Let's use this short. I'm going to zoom in. I'll show you a short and I'll show you a long. You get the 20, my anchor line, going flat. You get a power bar here. I'll zoom in a little more. This is the power bar. It's larger than the bars around it. The 20 is flat. I want it either flat or moving already in the direction of my power bar. This is my entry right here on a short position. The stop is the top of the power bar, which also happens to align, with the 20 here. This one originates right at the 20. So this is my entry and this is my stop. And here we're talking about a difference of 68,000 to 160. So call it 160. So 160 points on Bitcoin, which obviously is trading at 68,000. So that's not percentage-wise much of a risk at all. And this trade ends up making at that third take profit level, which is 2 times the risk. Again, this is my risk. That's the size of my risk. If I double that, you'll see this is 2 times the risk, right? That's 2 times. And that's why this take profit fires off in my indicator to indicate that's where 2 times the risk is. But that doesn't mean that you have to exit a power bar trade at that point. This trade, this short, goes on to, say you use the 20 as a stop, to make close to 900 points in Bitcoin, right? The risk 150, potential profit 900. If you didn't exit here, it's another 600 on top of that. If you had exited, here's another setup. It's a short that I'm not going to walk through, but entry, that would be the stop, and you get 1 times profit on that one. Let's look at a long trade. And again, this is just in the past 12 hours, these trades on Bitcoin, right? The setup works over and over, but why does it work on something as volatile as Bitcoin? And that's what I want to address directly before I show you the long setup. Because if you don't trust the setup, you won't take it. Here's the answer. The anchor line works on Bitcoin for the same reason it works on Qs, on Apple, on crude, on anything that has enough volume and enough participants watching it. I get that question all the time. What should I trade? Something that has volume and something that moves. You need volume so you can get in and out. You need movement for the power bar trade, which is a momentum trade, to work. Because the 20 simple moving average isn't some magic number. It's a consensus level. It's where a large enough group of market participants agree that the price is in balance. And then price gets stretched away, often in the form of a power bar. That's when you want to trade the instrument, is when that power bar forms at or near the 20. Actually, yes, it comes back, which isn't a bad profit-taking methodology when it comes back to the 20. And again, this is true whether you're trading a $10 stock, a $400 stock, or a $68,000 Bitcoin. The math doesn't care. The participants don't care. The chart shows the same behavior because human psychology shows the same behavior. The power bar is the confirmation that the move is starting. It's the trigger. A large bodied directional candle that tells you one side or the other. And the trade I just showed you, it's the shorts are taking control. And when that happens, again, at or near the anchor line, and as you will see in the cheat sheet, if you download that, in the case of a short, you want to clear support to the left, which this power bar does, which this power bar does, which this power bar does, and you can see this one failed, which this power bar does and gets 2 times the risk again. And in a long situation, which I'll show you in just a second, you want to clear resistance to the left. But again, same setup, different ticker, but that's the whole point of this video. Now let's look at the long side trade. Let's look at this one. Zoom in on this. I combine bars. I don't want to combine more than 3 or 4 kind of tops in a 2-minute chart. But these 2 lines, and that's why these lines are glowing green, because my indicator is saying that this is becoming a power bar. Here's where the signal actually happens. And that's because this is where the power bar clears that resistance to the left. Here, I'll make this again bigger so it's absolutely clear where the entry is. These 2 combined are the power bar. Entry is here. The stop is here at the base of the power bar. And you end up, again, the profit was so high, it extended out of my screen. 1 times the risk, 1.5 times the risk, 2 times the risk. Take profit. Or on a candle like this, take profit. Obviously, that's a huge topping tail in Bitcoin, and you get a hairpin turn. Another take profit level if you're just running a stop up as you get sort of multiple power bars forming. Again, another way to approach it, to approach profit taking. So let me go back then to my 12-hour chart and just point out that the takeaway, if you've been watching Bitcoin, again, this is the past 12 hours, but it's not unusual for Bitcoin. So if you've been wondering if you can trade Bitcoin the same way you trade stocks, the answer is yes. I get that question all the time. Can I trade crypto using a power bar? Can I trade currency using a power bar? Can I trade futures using a power bar? 100%. You just need movement and you need volume or liquidity in order to be able to get in and out. You can trade options on the instruments if they're too expensive. You can trade futures, which are highly leveraged. All of those using the power bar. One line, one signal, defined risk. Don't forget that part. Super important. And your trades are going to show up. The anchor line, the 20 SMA, doesn't know what ticker it's on. The power bar doesn't know what ticker this is. You just have to trust the setup. If you want my power bar indicator, it's linked to in the description below. If you want the cheat sheet that walks through the power bar trade, simply comment power in the comments. I'll get that to you for free. I hope this video was helpful to you in whatever you trade, especially if you do trade Bitcoin. But if not, for any other instrument you trade that has movement and volume or liquidity so you can get in and out. If it was helpful, please hit like and subscribe, share with any other trader you know, and thanks for watching.